There we go. How's it going, friends? Just wanted to make this quick introductory tutorial about the universe option here in Star Citizen Alpha 2.2 patch. Again, just basic flight mechanics, other user stuff. Try to make it as brief as possible, and I'll try to talk fast and get you guys through this. It probably is going to be something on the order of like 15-20 minutes, hopefully faster. But again, just wanted to talk you through some very basics. So as you see, you wake up in a bunk here at Port Olisar Crusader Solar System. It's the one system in Star Citizen Alpha right now that's available. But basically, you wake up in the bunk and you really can walk about, check out the station, interact with a few other players, if anyone else is around right now. So there's a guy right there. I can give you a quick overview of basic FPS UI sort of stuff. So hitting F9 on your keyboard will bring up your Mobi glass. It's your little wrist mechanism for viewing things, and basically you can bring up a mission manager, like your basically mission log sort of deal. I have no idea how to navigate back out of this stupid thing. But anyway, it's basically it'll have all these features. It'll basically have like little sub apps and other stuff like that. Basically the smartphone of the future. I'm hitting F10. It actually does nothing now. They changed that. So it basically has a VR headset. So see this guy's using his little Mobi glass as well. You can see him doing that. See, hitting F11 brings up a contact list that you can invite people. Then hitting F12 brings up the chat window right here, and you can chat to anyone in your instance, basically. 24 people per instance, per server, so we're on a single 24-person shard right now. So I've come down to the main hub. We want to access a ship. We're going to go ahead and interact with one of these terminals, walk up to it, and F. And I'm just going to select the Saber and request ship, and it'll tell me what landing pad it's going to be launched at. AO8.
Your ship is currently being delivered to the launch platform.
Alright, so just gotta find platform AO8, there's signs, so it's probably gonna be on the other side. 08 this way, alright. You have to go through these airlocks. Every time you die, you'll basically respawn back here at Port Olisar. There's no limited lives. Again, it's just a test bed, more or less, so you can respawn as many times as you want. So there's no real limitations or penalties exactly there. It's just basically all fun. You have to go through this airlock again because it's an internal system. So we're gonna go out, basically vent out into space and go to the landing platform where our ship is. Right now, there's no docking collars or anything like that. So 8 this way. You can see a little pip right there where my ship is. Way probably, but I will. And yeah, I totally threw it. Not helping my time, but whatever. So again, just holding shift lets you sprint. Pretty standard FPS stuff. That's a Hornet right there. Someone's taking off that. I'm gonna hop in my Saber here. Really like it. Fast, sleek ship, low profile. Just gonna hit F right next to it, and it'll deploy the loading mechanism. My Kai will automatically climb into the cockpit. And once it does that, the cockpit will close, and it'll initiate the system startup and start all that stuff. It won't take too long. So I'm gonna launch, give you guys some very basic things about flight mechanics here in the air. And test build, right? So you can see it's a little buggy. So, just gonna give you the lowdown basic flight mechanics, right? So first things first, 6 degrees of freedom, right? That means you can move forward, backwards, left, right, strafe. So you can see, I'm just gonna get a visual reference here. So I'm strafing left right now. I can strafe right. I can strafe down. Strafe up. Remember, no air and space. I can roll using the WASD, standard WASD if you're using a keyboard, mouse. My mouse moves this little circle here. Basically, like if you had a gimbal turret, your guns would aim on here. Aim like wherever these are pointed. All my guns are fixed. They are not gimbaled. They will not shoot. I cannot shoot right now because you can see here, up here in this little bullet icon, that means we're near a port. It's a peaceful port. We cannot shoot or fire until we get out of the armistice zone. So again, simple thing. All right, I accelerate. Right here, this is my throttle power. This is the actual speed I'm traveling. This is my power applied, so I have 54% of my throttle applied. Right here we have pre, which is precision mode. So it basically lowers my maximum speed. It keeps me from basically careening really hard into a landing platform, let's say, or to another ship while I'm in a busy area. If I hit V, Victor, it'll go into space combat maneuvers, which is basically ideal for combat dogfighting. Changes my maximum speed, maneuverability, and other stuff like that. Also makes you more prone to, see I'm like really cruising around. Makes you slightly more prone to blacking out. You can see it starts like gray there and stuff like that. You can look around, do all this crazy stuff, whatever. But if you get a little too crazy, you'll end up blacking out, as I always have. Now, if we want to step up the speed a little bit more, I'm going to max out my speed in SCM. I'm going to hit V again. You see where it says CRU. I'll show you right here. That's cruise mode. So I'm going to hit V again, and it's going to max out my speed in one direction. That's really effective for traveling in one direction very fast, but as you can see, I do not turn very fast. All my thrust, all my power is concentrated in my rear thrusters. Way in the back there, you can't see them because I'm already max speed. Let's say slow down a little bit, and if I accelerate again, they're probably going to start burning. So there you go. Anyway, I'm going to go back to SCM. So again, I can go really fast in one direction in cruise mode. SCM lets me basically, it's the ideal for any sort of combat situation. Other maneuvering techniques would be, slightly more advanced controls. So right now I'm in what's called interactive mode. My circle, my little targeting circle here moves very freely, right? My ship sort of follows that around. So if I want to enable different modes, if I want to tighten that up a little bit, I can enable what's called relative mode. And basically, you can see my dead zone is a lot smaller, although I can shoot back and forth. So basically, I have to continually have some sort of input to my mouse. I'm constantly moving my mouse right now to keep it centered. If I let go, it's going to automatically recenter. So that's relative mode. It's not great if you're not using a joystick. It's really good for joystick users who have continuous input. Then there's also look ahead mode. If I disable that as well, it's slightly more, a little bit more loose. But again, the look ahead mode is just, I don't know, it's again more like a joystick option. Hard to really explain without actually you trying it out. But again, not great options for mouse users. I prefer no gimbal mounts, so I hit Alt-G to disable gimbals, and you can see, and Alt-C to disable all those modes. So right off the get, I hit Alt-C, Alt-M, right Alt-M, left Alt-C, I'm sorry. Right Alt-M, left Control-C, and then left Control-G. And that disables gimbal, that disables look ahead, and relative mode. So now you can see my pips don't even move anywhere. It follows directly where my ship is going, because all my guns are fixed, and it allows me to mount bigger guns, basically, if I have no gimbals. So I can have a lot of big laser cannons. I really like it being able to aim like a look down, shoot down sort of. So let's explore the interface a little bit more on the ship. So again, I showed you the basically your max speed limits, more or less, is what this imposes. Your actual speed, 260 meters per second, throttle power right here. And then, so this little circle around your center pip, your center cursor, with this little arrow in it is your actual head. So as you can see, I turn, and it doesn't quite follow the center pip, right? It's because my ship is actually headed towards that circle. And it tries to recenter. My thrusters are always trying to recenter my ship to the vector I'm trying to go to. But again, the harder I turn, the more divergence there is. So I'm basically power sliding, right? I can negate that effect slightly by using boost. And I'm going to show you something real quick on the interface. So I hold Alt, left Alt, and then I press D. Or I can press, basically use the WASD to maneuver around my little interface screens down here. I can move around to these screens and change them to whatever I want. But I want to go to my fuel status and look at this little guy right here, boost. So basically, I can, if I want to basically max out the output of some of my thrusters to correct for some of this vector sort of slide, basically power sliding, if I hit boost, it maxes out my output, and you see how fast that resets. So basically, if you're about to careen into, say, an asteroid or any sort of surface, and you really just want to correct your course real fast, you hit boost button. And that's shift, that's left shift, and that'll basically correct your direction faster. But as you can see down there, watch it, as you're using thrusters, the more you use thrusters, if you hold down boost, it just drains it really quick. You can see now it's gone. It's slowly recharging, but you got to use it sparingly, so don't just burn through. And again, it also gives you a readout on my throttle as I adjust that there. Looking down here, just hitting, again, Alt and then S for down, I can just turn on and off weapon systems. So my missile platforms, which indicate I have 3 in each rail, I have 3 thermal seeking missiles. That's what fire means. I can turn those back on, and now I have power to my missiles. I'm going to go ahead and change some of these loadout screens just to give more status information and all that. So there you go, turning on and off power. We talked about speed, all that fun stuff. Let's talk about these countermeasures. So this is infrared, like heat signature basically. This is electromagnetic, or I should say cross section. So these are flares that will jam out infrared missiles. These will jam out EM seeking missiles. There's all different kinds. So of missiles that might trace you. So if someone shoots you a thermal missile at you, you want to just go ahead and spam the crap out of those. You can see pop, 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 popping off flares, and basically missiles will follow those flares. And by hitting X, I can swap my counter. Instead, drop chaff, which is basically just, again, shards of metal, basically to deter any sort of EM-seeking missile. So over here, we have coupled G-Safe, ComStab, ESP. Coupled mode is a simple thing. Now, remember we talked about the header real quick, the heading, this little circle here, right? As we turn, right, it shears off the vector a little bit depending on the thrust. Coupled mode, now watch, I turned off coupled mode, and watch what happens. I turn, it does not adjust my heading. I'm literally, it just turns off all my thrust adjustments and I'm flying sideways now. This means also I can turn around and shoot behind me while someone's chasing me, let's say. I can turn around, and if I re-enable that, it'll automatically start changing my vector. Disable that, it's great for coming around the side of an asteroid, turning sideways, and just aiming right down somebody on the other side of the asteroid, or other things like that. Just using asteroids as a close example. So that's coupled mode. It basically, again, allows you to change your direction your ship is facing without changing your actual vector. G-Safe, now hitting left control and caps lock, will toggle these different modes. G-Safe, basically, remember how I said blacking and redding out, right? So disable that, and then we'll start to do some crazy maneuvers. I'm going to red out or black out or something like that. Basically maxing out. See, I'm going to red out. I'm about to pass out. Yeah, not quite out, but basically if you pass out completely, you'll just collapse. You'll be slouched over your controls here, and after maybe a few seconds you'll wake up. If you're traveling at about 260 meters per second towards an asteroid and you black out, it's over, right? So G-Safe, if you have that enabled, allows you to kind of keep that under control a little bit better. What it's going to do when you turn, it's going to lower your top speed, thereby decreasing the chance of actually blacking out. If you disable that, you can pull more tricky maneuvers, but you're more prone to blacking. ComStab takes that a step further, and again, we'll go ahead and enable all that stuff, so watch when I turn. See how my speed tanks? Not great for outmaneuvering opponents, but will keep you from blacking out. It's more like, say, like when I make gentle maneuvers or something like that, but not great for combat. So I keep ComStab off, G-Safe on typically. ESP basically keeps your target pips on your target. So I know we don't have any targets right now, but if you were to be on target, you get your line up your shot. Basically, it's going to keep your target reticle right on that target slightly, but still allow you to maneuver. But again, it's great for fine-tuning other things. Another useful function is your mouse wheel. It allows you to zoom in, so if you really got to hit a tiny little target way far away, it allows you to zoom in on them. So, also, sorry. Let's see, that was Alt and Control allows this as a rear view, so this is directly behind your ship. Nice little quick thing and see if anyone's your tail. I'm going to show you this. Also, hitting Alt Space, left Alt Space, detaches your cursor here, so that's how I'm able to do all this. Quantum Fuel here basically allows you to warp around. So eventually to run out, you can get stranded. I'll go ahead and warp to something right now. Or Quantum Drive, whatever. Let's go Cryastro Circle. It's basically like a refueling station. So to get to this Quantum Drive mode, I hit B for Bravo. And then I hit middle mouse once I moused over a target destination. It's got a spoiler drive. And launch you, it's going to launch you to the speed of light. Towards whatever.
Landing gear deployed.
So server lag, you can see that again, it's out the build. So I could land here, refuel, repair if I take damage or whatever. There's little repair stations, little drones come out. I'll show you that here in a bit. So looking at a few other screens again, this big ball here in the middle. This bad boy is basically your radar. So you can see it's basically telling me there's an object right here. You can see as I change direction, it goes above me, below me, to my left. So I know something's there. It could be a hostile target, something like that. But basically this is your three-dimensional radar. Different ships have different radar readouts. Some of them look too-dimensionally, but are supposed to be red in 3 dimensions. It's kind of weird. It just depends on the type of ship or what you prefer. So I mentioned our IR seeking missiles and other sort of signatures. this is my heat signature. As I use weapons, thrusters, other engine outputs, it's going to raise my thermal signature and basically make missiles easier to track. My cross-section is going to be bigger, so I'm going to be a bigger target, essentially, for sort of missiles or even lock-ons or other things. When the game is fully implemented, EM, thermal weaponry, and other things like that, like probing people down, fighting people in space, it's going to be easier depending on, or harder depending on their signature. A ship like this, the Saber, has a as you can kind of infer from the design, is a bit more of a stealth fighter, so it's capable of kind of laying low. It has a very low signature, so it's gonna be a heavy hitter. Not a lot of can't take a lot of damage, but it will be able to kind of lay low and be kind of strike a little bit from the shadows, sort of. So looking at other parts of the interface, we have our weapon loadout here. Again, this is our missile platform that says I have 3 times 2 rails, so 6 total missiles. Heat-seeking missiles is the flame indicates. And then my Panther repeaters, which are laser repeaters. There's lots of different weapon systems, projectiles, lasers, all sorts of fun stuff. But this little 100% here, now watch what happens when I hold it down. You can see the percentage going down in that little bar on the right. So what the percentage means is how much damage each shot is doing. So as I hold it down, the longer you hold it down, it's basically draining power from your power plant, and meaning each weapon, each shot is successive shot is going to do less and less damage. So just holding it down constantly is not very effective. Controlled bursts, right? Also the heat buildup, as soon as you can see those little bars, that's H, that means heat. Hold it, if you hold it down long enough, they will start to overheat. Eventually your guns will just break if you just hold it down non-stop. Also, I forgot to mention your EM signature. So again, holding down lasers, you can see my EM signature spikes. As I thrust, you can see on the right my IR signature spikes. So as I thrust, you can see signature spiking, lasers, EM signature spiking on the left. AMB means ambient sort of signature. That's basically just saying that there's like background radiation or other things that are affecting how my ship display. Again, not really implemented right now in the game, but simply a way to something they'll be using later for pro. Up here we have our ship status, so it's all green. If I took damage, my wings would basically disappear. Other stuff would go red, and other stuff I can adjust shields by using the number pad. Full up, full forward, so if I'm going into a wave of enemies, I can allocate my shields full forward to take as much damage forward as I can. And hitting 5 equalizes everything. I can adjust left, right. If I have a tail, I can put them full back, all that stuff. Hitting F1 through 4 lets you look at different displays. I can basically turn these kind of guns off, other stuff like that. I can allocate power to groups, so I can group my weapons, engines, and there's no graphics here, so it's bugged. I can allocate power to weapons, group 1, or shields, let's say, in group 2, or thrusters to make myself more maneuverable or faster, or whatever. On the fly, all that fun stuff. I'm not going to do with anything like that right now, but I just wanted to give you a quick lowdown again of basic flight mechanics. So again, I'm going to try to see if I can get a fight real quick. Actually, I'm going to switch to Arena Commander right now, and it should be a pretty simple fix. I just want to show you guys some quick stuff on Arena Commander, and kind of show some very basic combat stuff, because there's not a lot going on not a lot of players right now, so I'm just going to go to exit menu. Just needs to take some minute to log me out. Electronic Access is the basically the simulator, so it's all arena combat in here, more or less. There's different modes you can do. There's racing, co-op, swarm mode. Spectrum Match is online. Drone Sim is by yourself. So if I want to do any sort of online, even with just like friends, I can go to Private Match if I invite everyone to my group into a group. If I go to a friends list and invite people, or if I just want to do random people, I can do Public Match. For now, just to make it faster, I'm going to go Drone Sim, so I won't have to wait on any sort of online connection. We'll just do Broken Moon Map, and I'm going to do Vandal Swarm. So again, increasing waves of harder and harder enemies. Use my Aegis Saber, going to launch. So again, I'm going to disable some of these funky little modes. Turn off my gimbal. So I'm going to hit left control and G.
Vandal Swarm initiated.
So you see it remove that circle pip. Then I'm going to hit left control C to disable relative mode. And now my guns are locked in, and I can go ahead. These are all NPC green pips. I'm going to hit T to target something. It's a hostile. So you see the little red square, it means I'm out of range of my weapons, and that's the pip I'm going to be lining with. Hit T again to target the next guy. Hit shift again, shoot my vector a little harder. Also, while I have a target targeted, I can hit M, and that will allow me to match speed. So it automatically matches the enemy's speed to my with my ship, so I don't have to worry about throttling and overshooting people so much. So again, just line this up. And again, if I want to zoom in, get a little finer shot, see a little better, a lot easier to hit him. And he's gone. As for missiles, see I'm going to hit boost because I don't want to strike that asteroid. Corrected my vector, and now I'm going to go smack the asteroid. That laser also there. So I'm going to hit middle mouse button once while I have my target, so it's going to lock on my missiles. There are different lock modes, but for now, this is an instant lock. I kind of like dumbfire missiles, so they don't require a long lock. See, I'm about 700 meters away, it's not too bad. Once I have all my locks, I hold down my middle mouse button, launches my missiles, which are green little triangles there. They're going to try to attack, and they miss. I'm just going to lock it again, just reload and see if they drop the flare I saw. Looks like they might hit. So I'm just going to wax it. Missiles, so different missiles have different tracking modes. Some are more effective than others. Different size missiles, all that fun stuff.
Contacts remaining.
But again, I just wanted to show you different ways of doing it. So again, you guys are going to respawn. I can just max out my velocity here, turn off decoupled, and while I'm traveling this way, I can just kind of float on by as I'll tell you a lot of like the those that are really good, typically flying decoupled. If you want to change your vector, you have to be hitting forward, so it's a constant input if you want to be changing your vector. Good for joystick users, other things. Some people use dual joysticks and stuff. Suck right now. So again, I'm just gonna match his speed. Oh, that's right. Anyway, just that'll be it for now. If you guys have any questions, you can post. Hopefully this was helpful. There's a lot more to the online play, criminal status and other things like that. You can go to comrades, accept missions and stuff like that. There's something really exploring. It's very atmospheric, really cool what they have in there right now. Some of the stations that you can get out of your ship and walk around in, really creepy, really sort of strange. You can get out, there's ports you can get out of your ship and kind of find guns and basically do FPS in the station. Not fully fleshed out, but again, still kind of fun, still pretty spooky, all that fun stuff. So hopefully it was helpful, and I'll make some more if you guys have requests. Thanks, bye.